I have to ask you something, and I need you to be honest.
Okay, shoot.
Have you ever had a day where everything was going perfectly? I mean, 50 people told you that you were crushing it, you looked great, the project was a success. But then one person, just one, leaves a snarky comment or gives you a weird look in the hallway, and suddenly the whole day is just trash.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a single drop of red dye in a glass of clear water.
Right.
The whole thing turns pink immediately.
Right. And you lay in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, not thinking about the 50 compliments. You're just replaying that one comment on a loop. It feels like my brain actively wants me to be miserable.
Yeah.
Is that just me, or is there something broken in the system?
It is definitely not just you. And the system isn't broken. It's just, let's call it vintage.
Vintage. Okay.
We are doing a deep dive today into a book that addresses this exact feeling. It's called Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Maurice.
And I'm guessing, based on that title, he has a fix for my 3.0 AM doom loops.
He does. But he starts with a pretty bold premise. He basically argues that we're all walking around operating the most complex machine in the known universe, our minds.
Right.
But nobody ever gave us the manual.
That is so true.
We learn algebra, we learn how to drive a car, but did anyone ever sit you down in school and explain the mechanics of why a thought turns into a feeling?
No, never. You're just supposed to figure it out, mostly by, trial and error, mostly error in my case.
Exactly. So think of this deep dive as that missing instruction manual. Maurice's goal isn't just to make you feel better. It's to move you from being a slave to your emotions
Yes.
to actually sitting in the driver's seat.
I like that. I am so tired of being in the trunk. So where do we start? Is it positive thinking? Affirmations?
No, we start with the hardware, the biology. Because the reason you fixate on that one negative comment isn't a bad attitude. It's because your brain has a very specific job description, and keeping you happy is not on it.
Wait, what? My brain doesn't care if I'm happy.
Not even a little bit. Your brain cares if you are alive.
Okay, survival over happiness. I've heard this before, but help me understand why that makes me obsess over a rude email in the modern world. I'm not exactly fighting off wolves here.
You know you're not fighting off wolves. Your conscious mind gets that. But the oldest parts of your brain, they haven't been updated in about 200,000 years.
Wow.
Maurice points out that for you to exist right now, thousands of generations of your ancestors had to survive. And how did they do that?
By being paranoid.
By being hypervigilant? Yeah. I mean, if you were a caveman sitting around enjoying the sunset, feeling totally blissed out, you probably didn't hear the tiger creeping up behind you, the
Right.
anxious guy, the one scanning the bushes for threats. He survived. We are the descendants of the anxious people.
So anxiety is basically a family heirloom.
It is, and specifically, we are wired to fear rejection. In a small tribe, if you got kicked out, that was a death sentence.
You couldn't survive alone.
No way. So the brain developed this death threat alarm system for social rejection.
Okay, that makes sense for the tribe. But fast forward to now. If I get a snarky comment on social media, I'm not going to die of exposure in the wilderness.
You know that. But your amygdala doesn't. That's the modern mismatch. When that negative comment hits, your brain floods your body with the same stress hormones it would use if you were being hunted.
So a bad email literally feels like a tiger.
To your ancient brain, yes. That's why one criticism outweighs 50 compliments. The criticism is a potential death threat. The compliments are just nice. They don't save your life.
We're running software designed for the Serengeti in a world of spreadsheets and Instagram. Okay, that explains the negativity bias. But what about the other side? We're always chasing happiness, right? If I go to win the lottery, then I'll be happy
Oh,
forever.
the classic I'll be happy when trap. Maurice tackles this with a concept called hedonic adaptation, and he brings up this study from 1978 that is honestly hard to believe.
This is the famous lottery one?
It is. Researchers compared two groups. Group A had won the lottery life-changing money. Group B had been in catastrophic accidents and were now paraplegics.
Whoa. Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right. And obviously right after, the happiness levels were totally different. But the researchers went back 1 year later.
Let me guess. The lottery winners were still happier, but maybe not as happy.
Actually, no. Statistically, their happiness levels were almost identical.
Get out! I don't buy it. You cannot tell me that winning $10 million and losing the use of your legs feels the same a year later.
I know, it sounds insane, but it's the set point theory of happiness. Humans are adaptation machines. The lottery winners got used to the big house, the fancy car. It just became their new normal.
And the accident victims.
They adapted too.
Yeah.
They found new ways to function, new sources of joy. The brain just resets the baseline.
It has to, doesn't it?
It has to. Think about it evolutionarily. If winning one hunt made you permanently happy, you'd never go hunting again. You'd just sit in the cave and starve.
That is sobering. It basically means external success is a treadmill, not a destination.
Exactly. And that's the first big pillar of the book. External events cannot provide lasting happiness. It has to come from the internal software.
Okay, let's get into the software then. If my brain is naturally negative and gets bored of success, how do I actually take the wheel? Maurice has a formula, right?
He does, and this is like the mechanic's guide to how an emotion is built. It goes like this. Interpretation plus identification plus repetition equals a strong emotion.
Interpretation, identification, repetition. I'm going to break it down. Interpretation seems obvious. It's how I see the world.
It's more than just seeing. It's the story you tell yourself about what you see. He uses this really visceral analogy. Imagine a slaughterhouse.
Ooh, okay. Dark turn.
Bear with me. If you or I walked into a slaughterhouse right now, what would we feel?
Horror. Disgust. I mean, I'd probably want to run out.
Right. But what about the guy who has worked there for 20 years operating the machinery? What does he feel?
Probably. Nothing. It's just
Okay.
Tuesday. It's just his job.
Exactly. The reality, the blood, the noise is the same for both of you. Reality is neutral. The interpretation is what generates the emotion. You interpret tragedy. He interprets job.
Okay, so we flavor the reality. I get that.
Yeah.
What are the next part? Identification.
This is the dangerous part.
Yeah.
This is where the ego gets involved. Identification is the difference between saying, I feel sad and I am sad.
That sounds like semantics. I feel versus I am. Is there really a difference?
Oh, it's massive. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. You feel a surge of anger. That's natural. But then you start saying, I am so angry. Why does everyone always disrespect me?
Right. You make it personal.
You are attaching your identity, yourself, to a fleeting feeling. You're grabbing a passing cloud and shouting, this cloud is me.
Okay, I see that. I do that all the time. I am an anxious person. I am a procrastinator. I wear it like a name tag.
And that's the trap. Once you identify with it, you defend it. The ego loves a label, even a bad one. And that leads right to the third step, repetition. The loop. You interpret the event negatively, you identify with it, this is happening to me because I'm unlucky, and then you just replay that story over and over. That's what cements a fleeting chemical reaction into a long-term mood.
So if that's the formula for misery, how do we hack it? What's the toolkit? Because knowing the formula is great, but when I'm in a bad mood, I don't feel like logicking my way out of it.
And shouldn't even try. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make. They try to think their way out of a feeling.
But the thinking is what got you there in the first place.
Exactly. So what do? You use the body. The core concept is action precedes feeling.
See, I struggle with this because I always wait until I feel motivated to go to the gym. I wait until I feel inspired to write. You're saying that's backward.
Completely backward. You have to act first and the feeling will follow. There's this fascinating and honestly kind of terrifying case study in the book about a psychologist named David K. Reynolds.
What did he do?
He wanted to understand depression from the inside out, so he decided to make himself depressed.
On purpose?
Yeah.
How do you even do that?
Physiology. He just spent days sitting in a chair, all slumped over, head down, shallow breathing, and he just repeated phrases like, it's hopeless, nobody cares.
It worked.
It worked too well. He spiraled into actual clinical depression.
That is terrifying.
It is. He proved you can create an emotion just by acting it out. But the recovery was the real proof. He didn't sit there and try to think happy thoughts. He forced himself to stand up. He moved. He exercised.
He changed his physical state.
Yes. The quote in the book is brilliant. Failing to exercise when you feel bad is like explicitly not taking an aspirin when you have a headache.
So motion creates emotion. If I'm stuck on the couch feeling like garbage, the answer is to do 10 jumping jacks.
Ideally, yes, but here's the problem. When you're in that state, the gravity on that couch feels like it's 10 times stronger. You know you should move, but you just can't.
Exactly. It feels physically impossible.
That's where the 5-second rule comes in. Maurice cites Mel Robbins here.
I've heard of this. It's like a rocket launch for your brain, right?
Yeah, it is. The idea is you have this tiny window, about 5 seconds, between having an impulse like, I should get up, and your brain killing that impulse with excuses.
It's cold. I'm tired. I'll do it in a minute.
Your brain is a master at talking you out of discomfort, so you have to beat it to the punch. You count down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you physically move. You don't think. You just launch.
Don't give the brain a chance to vote.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, what else is in the toolkit? You mentioned a different spin on gratitude.
Yeah, because I'm with you. Sometimes the I'm grateful for coffee lists feel a bit hollow. He calls it the chair exercise. It's about depth, not breadth.
How does it work?
Let's do it right now. Look at the microphone stand in front of you.
Okay, looking at it, it's black, it's metal.
Right. Now, don't just see a stand. Think about the metal. Where did it come from? Probably a mine, maybe in Australia or Chile. Some guy had to wake up at 4 a.m., put on a hard hat, and go underground to dig that ore. Then a truck driver had to haul it. A captain had to steer a massive ship across an ocean. An engineer designed the spring mechanism. A factory worker assembled it. A delivery driver brought it to your door.
Wow. When you put it that way, there are literally thousands of people involved in just holding my microphone up right now.
Exactly. And suddenly, you aren't just one person in a room. You are the focal point of a massive web of human effort. It shifts the focus from me and my problems to connection.
That is a massive perspective shift. It turns a boring object into a miracle.
And that leads us to the troubleshooting section. Because even with all these tools, negative emotions are still going to pop up.
Right. I can't just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 my way out of jealousy completely.
No, and you shouldn't try to suppress them. Murray says emotions are data. They're messengers. You don't shoot the mailman. You read the letter.
Okay, so what does the letter say? Let's talk about jealousy.
Yeah.
Because I hate admitting it, but I get jealous. I see a friend getting a huge award and I feel this ugly twinge. Does that just mean I'm a bad person?
Not at all. It means you're hungry. Maurice reframes jealousy as a map. It shows you what you want.
A map?
Think about it. Are you jealous of everyone who's successful? Probably not. He uses the example of Susan Cain, the author of Quiet. She realized she was fiercely jealous of her writer friends, but felt nothing when her lawyer friends got promoted.
Oh, that's a huge clue. She didn't want success in general. She wanted the path of the writer.
Exactly. Her jealousy was a compass pointing her toward her true desire. So when you feel that twinge, don't shame yourself. Ask, what specifically do they have that I crave? It's just data.
That is so much healthier than just feeling bitter. What about procrastination? I always think it's a time management problem. I just need a better planner.
And that's why the better planner never works. He insists procrastination is not a time management issue. It is an emotional issue.
How so?
We don't avoid the task. We avoid the feeling the task gives us. You don't avoid cleaning the garage because you don't have time. You avoid it because it makes you feel overwhelmed or bored.
That hits home. I avoid writing difficult emails because I'm afraid of the conflict, not because I don't have 5 minutes.
Precisely. So the fix isn't a timer. It's reframing the story from I have to do this to I choose to do this, and never, ever say I am a procrastinator.
Right, don't wear the name tag. What about defensiveness? That feeling when someone challenges you and the walls go right up.
He calls this below-the-line thinking. When you're below the line, your only goal is to be right. You are closed and protecting your ego.
And above the line.
Above the line is curiosity. The goal is to learn.
It's really hard to stay above the line when it feels like an attack.
It's incredibly hard. But defensiveness is a massive signal for growth. If you feel it, it means a core belief is being threatened. Instead of snapping back, you pause and ask, what am I trying to protect here? Why does this threaten me so much?
That's the instruction manual part again. Popping the hood and checking the engine instead of just flooring it.
Exactly. And finally, we have to touch on the heaviest one, depression or deep sadness. And obviously, for clinical depression, you see a doctor. Full stop.
Non-negotiable.
But Maurice brings in a more spiritual perspective, referencing Eckhart Tolle.
The power of now guy.
Yes. The idea is that sometimes deep sadness is actually a demand from your soul for deep rest.
Deep rest, like a really long nap.
Deeper than sleep. It's rest from the character you've been playing. Rest from the story. Tolle's own big shift happened when he thought, I cannot live with myself anymore. And he realized, wait, if I can't live with myself, there must be two of me.
Whoa, that's trippy.
It is, but the self he couldn't live with was the story, the ego, the grievances, the I'm a failure narrative. Sometimes depression is just the weight of that false mask becoming too heavy to carry.
So the sadness is a mechanism to force you to drop the mask.
It's to stop identifying, to stop saying, I am this story. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway of this entire deep dive.
Okay, lay it on us. We've covered biology, formulas, tools. What's the big picture?
The big picture is an analogy that I think perfectly summarizes the book. You are the sky, your emotions are the clouds.
The sky and the clouds.
Clouds come in all shapes. Some are fluffy and white, those are your happy days. Some are black, terrifying thunderheads. That's grief, anger, depression. They can hang over you for days. But, and this is the key, the sky never tries to fight the clouds.
The sky just...
It provides the space for them to exist. The sky doesn't grab a thunderhead and say, I am this storm. It knows the storm is just passing through.
That is really peaceful. It creates distance. I am the space where this anger is happening, not I am angry.
Exactly. And if you can practice that, if you can become the witness rather than the participant, you win. You've mastered your emotions because you realized you aren't them.
I feel like I need to sit with that for a while.
Well, I'll leave you with one final question to help you do that. It's the most provocative thing that came out of this research for me.
Let's hear it.
We spend our whole lives building this story of who we are, our job, our past, our relationships, our opinions. But if you stop telling yourself that story, if you dropped all the labels and all the grievances, who would be left?
Who would be left?
The answer isn't a word, it's a feeling. And finding that feeling is the whole point of the journey.
Wow. Who are you without your story?
Yeah.
That is going to keep me up tonight, but in a good way. Thank you for this. This is the manual I didn't know I needed.
A pleasure, as always.
And to everyone listening, remember, be the sky, not the clouds. We'll see you in the next Geek Dive.
Yeah.